First contact in room 407. Jensen Walker stood frozen in the doorway of room 407, his breath caught in his throat. He'd spent weeks preparing for this moment, his first encounter with an extraterrestrial roommate at Stellar University, Earth's premier interplanetary educational institution. But nothing could have prepared him for what he saw. The creature occupying the room's left side was nothing like the vaguely humanoid aliens he'd seen in orientation videos. Zyxtal, as his roommate assignment had named them, appeared to be composed primarily of crystalline structures that shifted and flowed like liquid glass, refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. Multiple appendages, Jensen couldn't quite count how many moved with geometric precision, as they arranged what appeared to be personal belongings. Hi, Jensen managed, his voice cracking slightly. The crystalline being turned, or at least Jensen thought they turned, as the patterns of light within their form reorganized to face him. "Greetings, Jensen Walker of Earth," came a response that seemed to resonate directly in his mind rather than travel through the air. "I am Zyxtal of the Nyxis Collective. I trust my form does not cause you distress." Jensen swallowed hard and forced himself to step into the room. No distress, The orientation didn't really cover. I mean, you're beautiful, actually, like a living aurora borealis. The crystals within Zyxtal's form flickered rapidly, creating a prismatic display. "Your words generate positive emotional resonance. Many species find our form challenging. The university suggested I might wish to adopt a more humanoid appearance, but I believed authentic representation would be more beneficial for true cultural exchange." Jensen dropped his bags and smiled, feeling more at ease. "They were wrong and you were right. Authentic is better, though I might need some help understanding everything, if you're willing to teach me." "Teaching and learning are reciprocal joys," Zyxtal responded, their form condensing slightly into what Jensen would later learn was their equivalent of a relaxed posture. "For instance, I observe you utilize bipedal locomotion, most inefficient, yet somehow your species achieved faster-than-light travel. Fascinating." Jensen laughed, then caught himself. "Is laughing okay? I don't want to accidentally offend you." Audible expressions of amusement are common across many species, though among my people, we express joy through chromatic harmonics. Zyxtal's form suddenly erupted in a dazzling display of colors that danced through the visible spectrum and beyond. As Jensen began unpacking, they fell into surprisingly comfortable conversation. He learned that Zyxtal's people communicated primarily through light patterns and psychic resonance, that they found human architecture confoundingly rigid, and that they had a particular fascination with Earth's marine bioluminescent creatures. The afternoon passed quickly as they exchanged questions and observations. Jensen explained human concepts like sitting, unnecessary for a crystalline being, and sleeping. Apparently, Nyxians entered periodic states of energy realignment instead. In turn, Zyxtal demonstrated how their species shared memories through direct crystal-to-crystal contact, though they apologetically explained that attempting this with human biology would be inadvisable. Their cultural exchange was interrupted by a sharp knock at the door. Jensen opened it to find Ryvan Castor, the resident advisor, looking concerned. "Everything okay in here?" Ryvan asked, eyes darting between Jensen and Zyxtal. "The energy readings from this room are off the charts. We were worried there might be some kind of conflict." "Oh no, Zyxtal was just showing me how their people express happiness," Jensen explained. "It's amazing, actually. Did you know they can?" "That's great," Ryvan cut him off, clearly uncomfortable. "Just keep the energy emissions within regulated levels, okay? Some of our more sensitive students are getting headaches." After Ryvan left, Jensen turned to find Zyxtal's form had dimmed considerably. "I caused disruption," they stated, their mental voice carrying undertones of distress. "Perhaps the university was correct about adaptation being necessary." "Hey, no," Jensen said firmly, surprising himself with his sudden protectiveness. "You shouldn't have to change who you are. We'll figure out the energy levels thing together. That's what roommates do, right?" Zyxtal brightened slightly. "Your understanding exceeds expectations, Jensen Walker. I begin to comprehend why humans have achieved such rapid advancement despite your physical limitations. Your adaptability is remarkable. Just Jensen is fine, he smiled. And speaking of adaptability, want to try the dining hall? Fair warning, I have no idea how you eat or if you even do eat, but I'm starving and I'd love to learn more about your people. I do not consume matter in the way you do, Zeichsel replied, their form shifting into a more mobile configuration. But I would very much enjoy continuing our cultural exchange. Perhaps I can demonstrate how we absorb energy from your star. Most humans find the process quite, what is your word, spectacular. As they left their room together, Jensen realized that his anxiety about having an alien roommate had transformed into excitement about having such an fascinating one. Sometimes, he thought, the best way to break down barriers was to throw away all your preconceptions and embrace the unknown. Hidden talents. The quantum physics lecture hall fell silent as Zeichsel's crystalline form pulsed with increasing intensity. What had started as a simple question about wave-particle duality had evolved into an impromptu demonstration that left even Professor Harrison speechless. As you can observe, Zeichsel's mental voice resonated through the room, my physical form naturally demonstrates the principles we are discussing. Their bodies separated into countless crystalline fragments, each refracting light in perfect synchronization to create a three-dimensional model of quantum mechanics that hung in the air like a hologram. Jensen watched from his seat, grinning proudly. In the 3 weeks since becoming roommates, he'd learned that Zeichsel's seemingly alien nature gave them unique insights into physics that most humans struggled to grasp. The crystalline being didn't just understand quantum mechanics, they lived it. Professor Harrison adjusted her glasses, clearly fascinated. This is remarkable, Zeichsel. Would you be willing to assist in some advanced demonstrations for future classes? Before Zeichsel could respond, a derisive snort came from the back of the lecture hall. Of course the crystal gets special treatment, muttered Dominic Wells, a senior known for his vocal opposition to the interspecies program. Why don't we just let them teach the whole class? Jensen felt his shoulders tense, but Zeichsel remained calm, their form consolidating back to its normal configuration. I would be honored to assist, Professor Harrison. Knowledge flows more freely when shared across perspectives. After class, Jensen and Zeichsel made their way across the campus quad, discussing the incident. You handled that really well, Jensen said. I wanted to punch Dominic's smug face. Violence would be counterproductive, Zeichsel responded, their mental voice carrying undertones of curiosity. Though I notice your body temperature elevated by 2.3 degrees when he spoke, your protective instinct is touching. Jensen laughed, still amazed at how precisely his alien roommate could read human physiological responses. Yeah, well, you've helped me enough times. My chemistry grades have never been better since you started explaining molecular bonds in terms of crystalline resonance. Their conversation was interrupted by rapid footsteps approaching from behind. They turned to find Kira Patel, a fellow freshman from Jensen's xenobiology class, running to catch up with them. Zeichsel, that demonstration was amazing, she exclaimed, her dark eyes bright with enthusiasm. I'm working on a research project about alternative physical states in sentient species. Would you be willing to let me interview you? Your perspective would be invaluable. Jensen noticed Zeichsel's form shimmer with what he'd learned to recognize as pleased embarrassment. Your interest honors me, Kira Patel. Perhaps we could combine your interview with what humans call lunch? I have been curious to observe more of your eating rituals. Perfect, Kira beamed. Jensen, you'll come too, right? I've seen how you help translate some of Zeichsel's more abstract concepts into human terms. As they walked to the dining hall, Jensen realized something had shifted on campus. Where once other students had given Zeichsel a wide berth, now more were approaching them with genuine curiosity. The crystalline being's natural ability to illustrate complex scientific principles had earned them respect among their peers, even as it drew resentment from others. The dining hall was crowded when they arrived, but a table of international students waved them over. Jensen had noticed that human students who already knew what it felt like to be different were often the first to embrace their alien classmates. As Kira conducted her interview, Jensen watched Zeichsel demonstrate how they absorbed energy directly from light, their crystalline form creating tiny rainbows across the table. Other students began to gather around, asking questions and sharing their own stories of cultural adaptation. "In my country," said Mahmoud, a student from Egypt, "we have a saying, 'Knowledge is light.' With you, Zeichsel, this is literally true." The moment of connection was shattered by a loud crash. Dominic Wells and several of his friends had accidentally knocked over their trays near the table. "Oops," Dominic sneered. "Guess we got distracted by the light show. Hard to eat with all these alien distractions around." Jensen started to stand, but Zeichsel's mental voice touched his mind privately. "Stay calm, Jensen. Their actions reveal their limitations, not ours." Then, addressing the whole table, they added, "Perhaps we could redirect this energy more productively. I believe there is a physics study group meeting this evening. All are welcome, regardless of their current understanding." Dominic's face reddened at the implicit challenge in Zeichsel's words, but he walked away, unable to formulate a response to such a measured reaction. "You know," Kira said thoughtfully, returning to her interview notes, "I think I need to add a section about emotional intelligence across species, because that was honestly masterful." Later that evening, Jensen watched in amazement as their room filled with students from all backgrounds, human and alien alike. Zeichsel floated at the center, their forms shifting and spinning to create incredible visual representations of quantum principles. What had started as a simple study group had transformed into something more, a bridge between worlds. "Your roommate is incredible," Kira whispered to Jensen as Zeichsel helped a struggling student understand particle entanglement by literally demonstrating it with their own form. "But you know what's really amazing? The way you two work together. You make the impossible seem normal." Jensen smiled, watching Zeichsel's crystalline form dance with light and energy. "Maybe that's the whole point of this program," he replied, "to show us that impossible is just another word for not yet understood." As the evening wound down, Jensen couldn't help but notice how naturally humans and aliens now mingled in their room, sharing jokes and stories alongside study tips. Yet he also couldn't shake the memory of Dominic's hostile glares. Something told him that not everyone was ready to embrace this new reality, and that their greatest challenges still lay ahead. The breaking point. The first sign of real trouble came during midterm week. Jensen arrived at their room to find Zeichsel's crystalline form dulled and nearly opaque, a state he'd never seen before. The usual shimmer of colors within their structure had slowed to a sluggish pulse. "What happened?" Jensen dropped his bag and rushed to his roommate's side. "Are you sick? Should I call someone?" "Energy interference." Zeichsel's mental voice was weak, creating a faint whisper in Jensen's mind. "Something, disrupting natural absorption patterns, cannot maintain optimal form." Jensen's concern turned to anger when he noticed a small device tucked behind Zeichsel's energy absorption panel. Standard equipment, the university had installed to help photosynthetic species survive Earth's different solar radiation. The device was emitting a soft, pulsing hum. "That shouldn't be there." Jensen carefully removed it, noting its sophisticated design. This wasn't some student prank. Someone with technical knowledge had deliberately targeted Zeichsel's life support system. Kira arrived moments later, responding to Jensen's urgent message. Her family's background in electronic engineering made her their best chance at understanding the device without involving potentially unsympathetic university authorities. "This is military-grade tech," she said, examining the device with growing concern. "It's designed to create localized energy disruption fields. Someone really wanted to hurt Zeichsel." As Zeichsel's form gradually regained its luminescence, their mental voice strengthened. "The timing is significant. Tomorrow's quantum mechanics presentation was to determine my eligibility for the advanced research program. A program that's traditionally been humans only," Jensen added, the pieces falling into place. "Someone doesn't want you raising questions about human superiority in theoretical physics." The incident marked a turning point. Over the next week, similar devices appeared near other energy-dependent alien students' quarters. The university's response was bureaucratic and slow, focused more on preventing panic than protecting students. Jensen, Zeichsel, and Kira began their own investigation. Late one night, they gathered in the library's restricted section, where Kira had discovered something disturbing in old technical journals. "These disruption devices," she whispered, showing them classified patents. "They're based on research from Dominic Wells' father's company. He's been developing non-lethal alien deterrent technology for years. The timing of these attacks correlates with significant academic events," Zeichsel observed, their form casting prismatic patterns across the ancient books. Each targeted student was excelling in traditionally human-dominated fields. Jensen paced between the towering shelves. "But why now, why here?" "Because we're proving them wrong," came a new voice. They turned to find Mahmoud emerging from between the stacks. "Sorry I followed you. After what happened to my roommate and ex, I've been doing my own research." Mahmoud pulled out his tablet, showing them a confidential email chain he'd managed to access. "Wells Industries is up for a major defense contract. Their whole pitch is that humans need to maintain technological superiority over alien species. Every alien student succeeding here threatens that narrative." Before they could discuss further, they heard footsteps approaching. Quickly hiding their research, they watched as Dominic Wells himself passed by their aisle, speaking quietly into his phone. "Yeah, Dad, don't worry. No one suspects anything. By the time they figure it out, the contract will be signed, and we'll have proof that aliens can't handle advanced human education." After he left, Jensen felt his hands shaking with rage. "We have to stop this." "We need evidence," Kira pointed out. "Real evidence, not just speculation and hacked emails." Zeichsel's form pulsed thoughtfully. Perhaps we have been approaching this incorrectly. They expect us to fight this as separate species, each protecting our own interests." "What do you mean?" Jensen asked. "My people have a concept, crystalline resonance. When multiple crystals align their frequencies, they can achieve effects impossible for any single crystal." Zeichsel's form shifted, creating a complex geometric pattern. "What if we combined our different abilities? Human intuition, Nyxian perception, Earth technology, and various alien sensory capabilities." Mahmoud nodded slowly. "A united front, not humans helping aliens or aliens proving themselves to humans, but all of us working together as equals." "It would mean putting ourselves at risk," Kira warned. "If Wells Industries realizes we're onto them." "We're already at risk," Jensen replied firmly. "But they're not expecting us to work together. That's their weakness. They see everything as a competition between species." Zeichsel's form brightened with determination. "Then let us show them something new. Something they cannot countermand with any technology, genuine cooperation between worlds." As they began planning their response, Jensen realized that this crisis had revealed something profound. The real threat to people like Dominic Wells wasn't alien competition. It was the proof that humans and aliens could achieve more together than either could alone. Looking at his friends, human and alien alike, gathered around the library table, Jensen understood that they weren't just fighting for their education anymore. They were fighting for a future where differences weren't just tolerated but celebrated as sources of strength. Now they just had to prove it before Wells Industries could force their vision of perpetual species rivalry on the world. Unity through adversity. The annual Stellar University Science Exhibition was meant to showcase humanity's technological progress. Instead, it became the battleground for the future of interspecies education. Jensen stood backstage in the main auditorium, watching Dominic Wells rehearse his presentation on human innovation in extraterrestrial defense. The holographic display behind him showed sleek devices marketed as protective technology, the same devices that had been attacking alien students. "Everyone in position," Jensen whispered into his communicator. "Affirmative," Kira's voice crackled back. She was in the control room, ready to override the presentation systems when needed. Mahmoud's team has the data packets ready to broadcast. Zeichsel, Jensen checked. In optimal formation, came the crystalline being's mental voice. Other energy-sensitive species are aligned. We await the resonance signal. The exhibition hall filled with corporate executives, military officials, and media representatives. Wells Industries had chosen this moment to unveil their breakthrough in alien deterrent technology. They hadn't counted on their targets fighting back. Dominic began his presentation with practiced confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, in an age of increasing extraterrestrial presence, humanity must maintain its technological edge. Wells Industries proudly presents the next generation of species-specific defense systems. That was their cue. Zeichsel and 5 other crystalline beings positioned around the auditorium began to pulse in perfect synchronization. Their combined resonance created a field that made all electronic devices in the room completely transparent, revealing the true nature of Wells' technology. As you can see, Dominic continued, unaware of the change, our devices create targeted energy disruption fields that can. Wait, what's happening? The audience gasped as the holographic display shifted, now showing the device's actual schematics. Not defense technology, but weapons designed to cause pain and disorientation in specific alien physiologies. Now, Kira, Jensen commanded. The presentation screen switched to display dozens of documented attacks on alien students, alongside internal Wells Industries emails discussing how to engineer evidence of alien academic failure. This is outrageous, Dominic's father stood up from the front row. Security, shut this down. But when security officers approached the control room, they found themselves facing an unexpected barrier. NX, Mahmoud's gaseous roommate, had created a dense but harmless fog bank around all entry points. Perhaps, Zeichsel's mental voice resonated through the auditorium, their crystalline form floating center stage. It is time for a different presentation. Their form expanded, creating a dazzling display of interactive quantum principles. Other alien students joined in, each demonstrating their unique contributions to various fields of study. A Velaxian student's multiple limbs manipulated complex surgical instruments with unprecedented precision. A quantum phase being demonstrated revolutionary approaches to space-time navigation. This is what you fear, Jensen stepped onto the stage. Not that we're different, but that together we're better. Every species has unique gifts. Combined, they don't diminish humanity, they elevate all of us. Mahmoud's team began broadcasting their evidence to every major news outlet. Kira's technical analysis proved the deliberate targeting of alien students. The conspiracy unraveled in real time before the assembled media. You don't understand, Dominic's father protested. These abilities, they'll make human skills obsolete. No, Kira's voice rang out as she emerged from the control room. They make cooperation essential. Look around you. The audience watched in awe as human and alien students demonstrated projects they'd created together. Jensen and Zeichsel's quantum mapping system. Kira and a Velaxian's new medical imaging technology. Mahmoud and NX's revolutionary atmospheric purification process. Every major human advancement came from combining different perspectives, Jensen continued. Why should interplanetary cooperation be any different? University officials, who had turned a blind eye to the attacks, now faced uncomfortable questions from the media. Wells Industries' defense contracts were suspended pending investigation. But more importantly, the exhibition had transformed into a powerful demonstration of interspecies collaboration. As the chaos subsided, Jensen found Zeichsel's crystalline form pulsing with what he now recognized as profound emotion. You risked much, Zeichsel observed. Your academic future, your professional opportunities. We all did, Jensen replied. But isn't that what friends do? Friends, Zeichsel's form shimmered. A human concept that transcends species, fascinating. Looking around at the aftermath of their revelation, alien and human students openly sharing ideas, corporate executives engaging in earnest discussions with various species, media capturing images of unprecedented cooperation. Jensen realized they'd achieved something beyond exposing a conspiracy. They'd shown that the future belonged not to any single species, but to those willing to learn from each other. The real breakthrough wasn't in Wells Industries' failed technology, but in the bonds formed between beings from different worlds. As reporters clamored for interviews and university officials scrambled to adjust their policies, Jensen, Zeichsel, Kira, and Mahmoud slipped away from the chaos they'd created. Their work wasn't finished. There would always be those resistant to change, but they'd taken a crucial first step. So, Kira grinned as they walked across the campus under the setting sun. Anyone up for studying? We still have finals next week. The mixture of human laughter and alien expressions of amusement that followed proved that some things truly were universal. Beyond boundaries. 1 month after the science exhibition incident, Stellar University had transformed. The campus that once segregated species now buzzed with unprecedented collaboration. The changes weren't just in policy. They were visible in everyday moments that would have seemed impossible weeks ago. In the quantum physics lab, Jensen watched as Zeichsel's crystalline form created intricate patterns of light, teaching human students about wave function collapse by demonstrating it within their own structure. The same ability that had once frightened classmates now drew eager learners from across departments. "The quantum state of my form," Zeichsel explained, their mental voice reaching every student, "mirrors your own universe's fundamental nature. By understanding one, you understand both." Professor Harrison, who'd initially been skeptical of alien teaching methods, now regularly incorporated species-specific demonstrations into her lectures. "We've been trying to teach quantum mechanics through mathematics alone," she admitted to Jensen after class. "Sometimes you need to see it to truly understand it." But the real changes went far beyond academics. The university's annual cultural exchange festival, once a polite but distant affair, had become a genuine celebration of interspecies diversity. Jensen found himself moving through a transformed campus courtyard, where humans and aliens alike shared their unique perspectives on art, science, and life itself. Kira had set up a booth demonstrating how different species perceived color, using Zeichsel's crystalline refraction patterns to help humans see beyond their limited visible spectrum. Nearby, Mahmoud and NX had created an interactive exhibition showing how their atmospheric manipulation techniques could help terraform hostile planets for multiple species to coexist. "It's not just about tolerance anymore," Kira told a group of visiting officials. "It's about recognizing that our differences aren't obstacles, they're opportunities." Even Dominic Wells, stripped of his family's influence but not expelled, had been changed by the experience. Jensen found him studying alone in the library one evening, struggling with an advanced physics concept. "The quantum tunneling effect," Zeichsel observed, floating nearby. "Perhaps I could assist. My form naturally demonstrates the principle." Dominic looked up, surprise and shame crossing his face. "Why would you help me after everything?" "Because progress requires us to move beyond past conflicts," Zeichsel replied. "Your understanding of human engineering principles, combined with my quantum nature, could lead to innovations neither of us could achieve alone." That study session became a turning point. Dominic's technical knowledge, freed from his father's influence, proved valuable in helping other humans understand alien perspectives. His journey from antagonist to advocate became a powerful symbol of change. The university's success caught the attention of institutions worldwide. Delegations arrived to study their integration methods, leading to the establishment of new interspecies programs globally. Jensen and his friends found themselves at the heart of a movement that extended far beyond campus borders. "You know what's really remarkable?" Mahmoud said one evening as their study group, now a mix of 6 different species, took a break. "We're not just learning facts anymore, we're learning how to see the universe through each other's eyes." The ultimate validation came when the Galactic Education Council announced a new initiative based on Stellar University's model. The same differences that Wells Industries had tried to exploit, were now being celebrated as crucial to advancing knowledge across the cosmos. On the last day of the semester, Jensen sat with Zeichstahl in their room, watching Earth's sunset paint the sky in colors that meant different things to each of them. "When I first saw you," Jensen admitted, "I thought we were too different to ever really understand each other." And now, Zeichstahl's form shimmered with curious patterns. "Now I think maybe we were never meant to understand everything about each other. Maybe it's our differences that make us stronger together." Zeichstahl's crystalline structure pulsed with what Jensen had learned was their equivalent of a smile. "My people have an expression. In the facets of many crystals, truth shines brighter. I never fully understood its meaning until coming here." Their conversation was interrupted by Kira bursting into the room, tablet in hand. "They're implementing our program across the galaxy. The Interspecies Scientific Coalition wants us to help develop the curriculum." As his friends, human and alien alike, gathered to celebrate, Jensen realized they'd achieved something far greater than exposing a conspiracy or saving their university. They'd proven that the future of exploration, innovation, and growth lay not in the supremacy of any one species, but in the magnificent potential of their differences combined. "So," Zeichstahl's mental voice carried a hint of amusement, "shall we begin planning for next semester?" Looking around at the beings who had become his closest friends, each one unique and invaluable in their own way, Jensen smiled. "I think we already have. We're just getting started." The sun set on Stellar University, its light refracting through Zeichstahl's form to cast rainbow patterns across the room. In those intermingled colors, human and alien alike could see the promise of a future where differences weren't just accepted. They were essential to the very fabric of progress itself.